Hello.
And welcome again to another edition of Boy and Girl Thing. I'm Kit Smith, and this is...
I'm Cece Schatz.
And we're here to...
What are we here for?
Well, we're here to help people get through this internet dating process. That's our segment of the Cece Schatz Network. And
yeah.
Well, okay. I'm the author of the book, Let's Meet Our Match, Your Complete Guide to Success in the World of Internet Dating. And Cece is...
What am I?
The doyen.
The doyen. I'm the doyen of divorce, dating, and transition into living your best life. And so I have been working together with individuals throughout the Tampa Bay area for years. And so we've now broadened into the Sarasota area. So I'm kind of excited about that. We've developed the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And I want to thank you all for listening to us. If you're listening to us from another page right now, please come to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Facebook page, because then we can catch all your comments and we can put you up live right with us, and you can ask questions to our wonderful guest that's going to be here. So I want to move right on into it because we got a lot going on.
We're not just reaching to Sarasota. According to this, we're reaching all the way to West Palm Beach, Florida.
Absolutely.
And we're really pleased to have with us this week Amy Sherman, who is a dating and relationship coach, a therapist, and an author. I could probably use the therapist part. For more than 2 decades, Amy Sherman has been working in the helping field. She's inspiring others to live their best life, which is the theme throughout the WGSN-DB network. Living your best life. That's our main goal, and that's our theme. She has a master's degree in counseling and psychology from Vermont College, and has worked with adults, teens, and couples, and even old farts like me, struggling with personal and professional issues that have kept them from the happiness and the joy that they deserve. She is the founder of Baby Boomers Network and co-founder of the Women Dating After 40 and Dating Rescue programs.
Great program.
Absolutely. The Baby Boomers Network is a website devoted to helping boomers transition through midlife using the healthiest and most effective coping skills. As a dating and relationship coach, Amy's expertise is in guiding singles to move from insecurity and uncertainty to empowerment and commitment. And I'm sure there's a lot of us that understand the word commitment, like we should be committed.
Absolutely. You want to be committed?
There's times I feel like I ought to be.
I know. You know what? I'm just going to, as we're talking here, I'm just going to pop it over to my page and paste it so people can join us and make sure that they join us here on the station. So we're going to be doing that. But Amy, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Cece. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, gosh, it is great having you. Now, you are the co-host of a terrific show that we have on WGSN, which is called Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living. And you do that with your sister, Rosalind Sadaka, and you guys are outstanding. I get reports from you, from people listening to you all the time. So they love your show, and I want to thank you so much for doing that for us, bringing that forward.
It's a pleasure. We enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great. So tonight's topic, we're going to talk about baby boomers dating. So what can you share with us? First of all, how did you get into helping baby boomers? Because you've been doing this for quite some time.
Yes. Well, I'm a baby boomer myself. And as a therapist, I have seen so many couples deal with their relationships and going through, a lot of turmoil. Some of them are going through divorce. And I realized that there are so many baby boomers now out there in the singles world that I really wanted to help them get through and transition through that different segments of their lives, because it definitely is different. Many boomers have been married for, 30, even 40 years, and now they're single. And so I decided this is a chapter of their life as well as mine, to help people work through that transition and do it in a healthy, satisfying way, basically, so that they could, meet somebody perhaps if they're interested, or just get through being single without the trauma that a lot of it.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think dating, as we're maturing, I hate to say old, I hate to say that word, but as we are maturing, it is so different, isn't it, dating now as it was when we were in our 20s?
Yeah, when you're in your 20s, you're starting out, obviously, you kind of are looking for somebody who's attractive, who, has similar interests to you. But, as we mature, there's more to attractiveness. We want somebody who has solid, interests that we have, commonalities, important things that we could really relate to. So not only are we looking for somebody who we are attracted to, obviously that's important, but we're looking for something more in depth. And that would be, people who, have a similar philosophy in life, share certain values that we have, and we know what they are. We're mature, we've been through, we know what we're looking for. We're very specific. As we get older, we become more specific in what we're looking for.
Even to the point where I've called it a certain level of narrow-mindedness, because there's people we block out or eliminate right away.
That's right. Well, we don't want to waste our time. We've been there and we've done that. So why not go for who we're looking for, what we know we don't want? Because many times if people, many boomers are divorced now, and, divorce is rising. In the 55 to 64-year-olds, it's doubled divorce. And in the 65 and over, it's actually tripled. So, yeah.
Here's something I've come across many times. How different is it for you to counsel or coach someone if they're divorced or they're widowed? How much of a difference is there in your coaching, or how do you handle that?
That's a very good question. Not everybody has a good relationship. So if they're married for 30 years and their spouse dies, I hear it from people all the time, they're happy. They don't have, and I have to say that I did run a domestic abuse program for 6 years, and I worked with many men and women who were in long-term relationships, and when their partners died, they were very happy because they were out of that abusive situation. So it really does depend on the relationship that you've had. Women or men who have lost their spouse and they've had a wonderful relationship, that's very difficult. The grieving process will take many years before they're ready to go out and find somebody else. But because they've had a wonderful relationship, they want that again, and they won't accept anything else. Yeah. But if the relationship,
they have like an image or a cookie cutter thing that they want the next person to fit right into, and it's just simply not that. So big,
absolutely. But they also know, what they're looking for. They want somebody perhaps who's loving, who's affectionate, tender, and all those things. And they will not accept somebody who doesn't treat them well. Right. And on the other hand, if you didn't have a good relationship, you also know what you don't want. So you kind of have a background. Everybody comes into a new relationship with a little history, but yet they're knowledgeable and they're aware of, this is what I'm looking for and this is what I will or will not accept. So it helps. And that's different than when we're in our 20s, because in our 20s, we may not know exactly what we want. They're just looking for, somebody who's attractive and, has certain official qualities.
And as far as this relates to internet dating or online dating, they write those things in their profile. That I don't want, I will not tolerate, I won't put up with, and a whole lot of negative things that I personally discourage people to. You want to present a positive image. And I wrote a blog one time about, are you creating a profile where there's a security gate that somebody needs the code, to get in? And are you turning more people away than you are welcoming? And there's just a lot of people that the written word or a written description of them doesn't necessarily match what they are. You're liable to find that somebody whose profile was or didn't really light you up, and you meet them in person, it's like, wow, what a great guy. Yeah. I had no idea. So I try to tell people to be careful about what they write in their profile. You want to be welcoming. You want to bring people in. You don't want to chase them away, or why bother?
Yeah.
What
Oh,
color?
absolutely. I mean, it really is all about energy. You know, what is the energy you're exuding out there in the world? I was just talking to a young woman, she was in her late 30s, and she said she's looking for she wants a wealthy man. You know, she's used to wealth. She comes from wealth. She's been married before, had a lot of money, and that's what she's exuding, this wealth. But she's also exuding haughtiness, and like, a little, snobbiness. And I said, be careful of the energy you're extending, because you're not going to find what you're looking for, because it kind of presents itself in a negative way. So you're absolutely right, Kit. You really do have to watch what.
And I've also said several times, there's no such thing as a clone. Okay, I mean, believe me, no one feels worse for you than I do that you lost your spouse for whatever reason, but you're not going to find his clone. You're almost starting over again, completely from scratch. So you've got to become more open-minded, narrow down a few qualities that you're looking for, mostly in their personalities and their attitude toward things, but the rest, you've got to be willing to accept. You got to have a little flexibility, okay? And
now, wouldn't you say, Amy, that you kind of have to start anew? So, like, for instance, my point is that you can't date like when you were in your 20s. You're not looking for a partner in which to have a family with. You're over the period of trying to go to bed with every person that you possibly can see. And but now we're on the mature status, and so we're looking at life differently, and we're trying to embrace what are we going to do, and who we're going to be with moving into our future. And so I think that baby boomers, we have to look at dating completely different, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have certain criteria that we're looking for now. As I said before, we know what we don't want. We know what we do want. And what we do want generally is somebody who's kind and gentle, honest, all those qualities that, what make a
thing I see most frequently is sense of humor.
And
they want a sense of humor.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, you need to realize that you have to be that person as well.
Right.
So if you're looking for somebody who's honest and funny, you can't be a bore, and you can't be, you have to be that person to attract that same kind of person. So the criteria as we mature is different. But I do want to bring up that, unfortunately, though, because we've had relationships and long-term perhaps relationships, there's a lot of baggage that we do carry with us. And with that baggage is resentment and anger and fear and frustration and disappointment and all those other qualities, because if you had a horrible divorce, let's say, and you're single now, you're coming into your new relationship a little jaded and suspicious and whatever, all those negative qualities that we don't want to have, but we are coming into the relationship that way. So
how unfortunate it is that you meet somebody and they demonstrate one or two qualities of the person you got rid of.
Right.
And right away, I'm out.
Yeah, that is so true. And that happened to me. That
person doesn't even know, and another question.
I always tell my clients, give the person at least 2 or 3 shots, go out with them several times before you say no. Because, people are nervous, and, you're not usually yourself. You kind of, so to find out if this person is really who you think they are, give it 2 or 3 times before you say no more, if that's how you feel.
Another question I have and specifically about baby boomers, and Cece and I have discussed this a couple times. And we're at
the chemistry.
We're going to get to the chemistry thing. The chemistry thing is the whole deal. And she knows what I'm talking about. Look at her; she's laughing because she knows exactly.
Shows, we always get to the chemistry
thing.
Okay. Isn't there another aspect to this too, where we can feel a certain level of internal pressure? Because we're like me, I'm 63, and I realize I'm winding down. Okay, these are the last good, best, great years that I'm going to have. When I was 30 and made a mistake in a relationship that ended up not working, well, I had a whole rest of my lifetime to reconfigure everything and start over again. Me personally, I don't necessarily feel that I've got a lot of time left or a lot of room left to fail. I don't want to be doing this at 80 years old, and this is, we're moving into that at this age.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that you made an interesting point, because if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's insanity. You're going to get the same results. So if you find that a lot of your relationships are repeating patterns, you need to, and either therapy or coaching, find out what it is you are doing. Say to yourself, what am I doing that is creating this? Because what happens with new relationships is it could be the same kind of person, just a different face. And that's what we do. We find similar people that we have in our background, in our past, and then we see them and they're just like our past husbands or our wives, whatever, different face. So we need to see what are the patterns that we keep repeating and how can we change them. So, kid, if you don't want to repeat over and over again and you feel this is your last, hurrah, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I look at it as being realistic. It's not an emotional thing with me. I'm being realistic.
I do think, Kit, you do have a point with that. And the reason being is because, we really want to choose someone that we are going to be able to embrace and enjoy the next few years. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I think that's very important. So as we're out there dating, and
you actually agree with me?
I do. only for just a little bit.
For a couple minutes,
yeah, just a little bit. But but Amy, wouldn't you say that it is important for us to start embracing people in our lives rather than making so many judgments, to people? So I think that as we're progressing into dating versus when we're online and we're saying no, 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 and we're analyzing everything they've written, maybe we need to stop for a minute and embrace who they might very well be. Are we somewhat attracted? The chemistry is in there. And, talk to them. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah. Well, and I agree. It's important to step out of the box. If you tend to have a certain type of person that you like to date, for women, let's say, they like somebody who's tall, because maybe they're tall. 5'7", they'd like a guy who's taller. That means they're eliminating all these guys who are 5'5", who are shorter than them, but they could be really nice people. And there's so many, I know so many couples where, for instance, the height didn't matter to them and they're very happily married. So we need to step out of the box and try on, so to speak, a different person, a different type of person to open up our parameters. Because otherwise we keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It's just like going out to meet people in the same venue all the time. If you keep going to bars, that's the kind of person you're going to meet. But if you go to a seminar or a workshop, you may find somebody else. It's just stepping outside the box.
Right, absolutely.
I'm of the opinion, and first, one thing I'd like to say, I devoted a whole chapter in my book to this chemistry. The idea of meeting someone.
Here we go, Amy.
Okay, I'm ready.
Why don't you see if there's something in it? I smell something burning. Don't you go.
You probably do, but no.
I try to look at everything from a common sense and a logical point of view, and I realize that everything about dating is all emotional. And emotional and common sense and logic go together like oil and water. Okay, they don't mix. But I believe that all humans possess an attraction mechanism in our brain. Okay, and there's almost no definition for it. There's almost no way someone can describe to you the person that would trigger it for them. Sometimes they don't. It's in literature.
Amy, okay, all right.
I get what you're saying. Love at first sight.
I get that, but don't you think, Amy, that we have to really look at the depth of the person? Don't we have to stop and really pay
Amy,
closer attention?
one of my favorite sayings.
We argue about this every
One
show.
of my favorite sayings is, if you don't pass the chemistry test, you're not getting to the compatibility test.
Okay, let me say this about that. You're both right. And that's the difference between men and women. There you go.
Here we go, the men and women thing. All right.
Yeah, well, there are differences. When you meet somebody or when you see somebody who looks interesting, there is that chemistry. There is some sort of, and it's unexplainable. You're right, Kit. It's unexplainable. There's something that attracts you to that person, whether it's the physical or the energy.
You're right. There's no control over it.
There's no control. Yeah. But if they open their mouth and they sound like a moron, you're going to run the other way.
Okay.
So chemistry is there for a reason, but just like Cece is saying, there's more to chemistry. Most relationships start out with a chemical reaction, but then if it's going to last, it has to have more depth.
And I wholeheartedly agree. I don't disagree with that at all.
Chemistry does wane after a period of time. I mean, you have butterflies in your stomach when you see this person and everything is all goo-goo and gaga. But that does change after you know them. After a while, you get comfortable with them. And it does change. Not that it's not, still feel that. But there's more to that person. You like the way they are.
I call it the honeymoon period. There's each relationship, when it begins, there's a honeymoon period. It could be 6 months, 8 months, 5 years. Okay, but when you get to that point where that starts to be less of a priority, the physical attraction. Now you have to take inventory of what do you have. Do I have the kind of relationship that I'm seeking? I love this person to death. She excites me, but she gets on my damn nerves with,
Well, that's right. So many clients that I've had say the sex is great, but, so you can see that there's more to a relationship than just the physical. And that's the chemical part that you're talking about, because some people have really wonderful sex lives, but the relationship is just horrific. And I see it all the time when they say we don't communicate, he doesn't understand me, she doesn't hear me, and it's back and forth. So there's way more to a solid, good, healthy relationship than just the physical or the chemistry that starts you off in the relationship. So but they're both necessary. If you're not attracted to the person that you're with, then you don't want to stay with them. You really have to have both. But to make it long lasting, I really feel it has to have more to it, more of that.
I have a question. Amy, what about the sexual aspect of it? When we were in our 20s, we didn't have any trouble with sex. But as we're getting older, there is a huge sometimes problem with the sexual part of it. And so, Well, what
I was going to say was, of course, as we get older, we're on medication. People get on medication and it affects your libido, it affects your sex life. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I hate to bring it up, but sorry.
But there's more to, because you see, this is what maybe men may not understand as much as women. I don't know. You help me, Kit, with this. But there's more to a loving relationship than the physical, and it's the romancing and holding hands. I had a client just recently, and she told me, she says her husband never holds her hand when they're walking in the street or anywhere. He's never, since the day they're married, and it's like 20 years, holds her hand. How important is that to her? It's very important. Those kinds of things, it's the touching, it's the cuddling, that's maybe even more significant if the
guess what? That sets off a chemical reaction within our bodies.
Yeah.
And gives us a sense of well-being. A touch.
Yeah.
A touch can be very important. Yeah, she's going to club me.
Not that kind of touch. I'm sorry.
I wholeheartedly agree, Amy. I even, on my own personal profile, on the dating websites that I use.
You're trying to sell yourself here.
I know. Well, it's a perfect venue for it. You're seeing me live and in person.
He's pitching himself.
I make a remark that how important romance is, but it doesn't have to be obvious to exist. Meaning, subtle little things can be the most romantic.
Yes.
They don't have to be big and splashy.
That is so important. Little love notes, little gifts or little gestures, anything. Put your hand on somebody's knee. So important. All that stuff.
A pat on the butt because you cooked my favorite dinner.
Exactly. And a simple thank you as well. Just a thank you. That was a delicious meal. It means the world. So that's what keeps a relationship together. That's what keeps.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So I think as we're going into the baby boomer dating, I think that is something that we need to really be, aware of, that we have to give our partners, that extra affection, that extra touch, because I think that we have to overcome some of the obstacles that we're going to start going through as we're older. And so I think it's very important that we are aware that we need to do that. And,
I don't disagree with you.
Oh, but he's going to disagree with me.
I don't disagree with you in theory.
Oh, in theory.
Okay.
I love how he tactfully tells me.
No. There's no way you're wrong. There's no way.
All right then.
But the point.
But
what is the basis for tonight's show?
What is the basis?
Baby boomer. We're all about baby boomers.
Yes.
And as we have advanced, we become more ingrained in our own personal habits. And meaning, if you meet someone, the things we just discussed about little romantic touches or whatnot we can do to make a healthier and happier relationship. At a guy 50, 60, 70 years old, if he's never done that, how are you going to get him to do it now?
Can I say something to this, Amy, and then you can?
Oh, sure.
Definitely, since you're the guest and you really should be talking more. But what I would say to this is I think that we're on the dating sites because we crave that attention. We crave that, maybe that physical touch or being with someone. And I was just talking with a gentleman tonight that said, he enjoys going out fishing with his son. He has a great time, but he misses being with a woman. He misses that. Mm-hmm. And so what would you say to that?
Yeah. Well, it's just, I don't know what to say to that, except, we need companionship. Mm-hmm. And we need to have, just to feel good about ourselves. I want to just say that you were saying about a pattern, we fall into patterns, and if a guy has never done that kind of affection thing, he's not going to. Well, all the more reason to understand and, to become a little more insightful. Why is it, I'm laughing because I've had a client recently, why can't I keep a woman in my life? He's about 50 years old. And he's fallen into those patterns that you're talking about where women need maybe a little more affection, a little more gratitude, a little more appreciation, a little more of this and that, as do men. And maybe he's incapable of doing that. So, we need to understand that. And so insight is so important. I think everyone should be coached or, in therapy for relationships, because especially, for communication, but, just to understand about relationships, what we need, what we want, and what we could ask for. Because
absolutely.
If you don't ask, you won't get. And
now, Amy, share with us your website and how we can get a hold of you.
Well, I have several websites. I have yourbabyboomersnetwork.com. So that's a website filled with all kinds of good information for baby boomers, dealing with the aging parents, dealing with retirement, dealing with health issues, dealing with just the empty nest if you still have that, just all kinds of issues that we as baby boomers experience. The other website I have is joyofoptimism.com. And that's just a feel-good website, positivity, total, good blogs, information. I have a free ebook you could sign on for to get, and it's just chock full of just inspiration to make you feel good, because we know, with today's world and just in general, we need to feel good about ourselves. So it's chock full of that. Also, Women Dating After 40, that's 40.com, a website for women talking about all kinds of dating issues for women over 40. So women, at midlife. And we also have a men's program, mensdatingformula.com, which talks to men specifically about their dating issues. So there's a lot of websites and a lot of good information.
Terrific information.
Absolutely.
And you do it each week on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You guys have great shows on there. They're on the podcast. They're on the station. We have it on YouTube, so people can definitely, go and listen to your information, because it's just remarkable what you guys put out and how you embrace everyone in the dating. I mean, not just the baby boomers, but also I think anyone that's out there dating can learn a great deal about relationships. And that's what it's all about, making it work, right?
And having fun.
Mm-hmm. And we do. I'm always teasing him all the time, but we have a great time. And you know what I love so much about this show, Kit, is that we do have such a difference of the way we look at things. And it's just a shame that mine's always right.
And you're so completely wrong all the time.
It is fun. And, that's what makes a relationship, right?
Did you enjoy meeting me, Amy?
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to take...
Wait a minute.
He is a lot of fun. So we have a good time. So, Amy, just share with us, in closing, some last remarks that you think that might help people that are out there struggling with dating. They're getting out, on site now. They're trying to put their profiles out there, and any words of advice that you can give them without us interrupting.
Just simply, I tell so many of my clients, open their heart. So wherever you are, wherever you go, whoever you see, physically open your heart. Think of it as like a door opening. And when you're talking to somebody, just kind of give that energy out there, because you never know. This person may be the one, or maybe he knows his cousin is the one, and he'll introduce or she'll introduce. So just be receptive and be open to all the possibilities out there, because you really do never know when the next person you meet in Walmart or the supermarket could be, the person of your dreams. And unless you're open to it, and that's why I say open your heart, you will miss out on so many opportunities.
Yeah, that's great advice. Absolutely great advice. Yeah, I mean, just keep that, I always say, keep that window open, keep the door open, and just be, I think just be positive, keep your vibration up, because you had mentioned about the vibration. I think once you have a high vibration, people will come into your life, absolutely come into your life. Well, this was a great show. I loved it.
I'm so happy you came on with us, Amy.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure. Enjoyed it.
It is great. And then your show, if anyone wants to catch your show, it is on Tuesday nights and also on Friday nights. So we have it broadcasting on both nights. And we have a brand new show coming out for you on Friday night. So I hope everyone will tune in and catch it. You can just go right to the website and get the lineup there, and the information will be there for you. So it'll be great. But it is super. It is absolutely super. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
I did. Thank you.
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely
great.
Thank
you, Amy.
Well, we're going to close out the show. And this is Cece.
And this is Kit.
And you are listening to The Boy and Girl Thing. We hope that you will catch us right back here, same time.
Next Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
Absolutely. And we are posting now from the WGSN-DB Going Solo Facebook page. So you want to go to that Facebook page and you can join us. And when you do, you can come right on live. You can ask questions to our wonderful guests that are here. We're going to have, Joanne Simmons is going to be on next.
Wow.
And more people are contacting me saying they love this and they want to be part of it. And we want you to be part of it. So,
and please like our page.
Yes, please like our Boy and Girl page, because we need to get that up to 100. And we like that. And make sure that you, I would ask you that we're going to be posting this on Facebook, and anybody, please, if you like it, please share it with other people. Get the word out. Help us to be able to help other people to move forward in dating.
Absolutely.
We love that.
Yeah.
So, Amy, again, we want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I'm looking forward to the next time.
Good.
Bye.
Good.
Okay, that
Bye.
was Amy Sherman, and you can catch her on Friday night. She is the co-host of Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living. And if you heard the show, you know that she definitely gives you the inspiration. She's there with her sister, Rosalind Sadaka. Outstanding lady. So it's a wonderful show. So we'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Good night.
Good night.